Right, so this week I've been taking some self-portraits and I'm going to show you what I've been up to. Stick around. What's up everybody, welcome back to another video here at Benham Media. My name is Nathan and it's an absolute pleasure to have all you here today. So this week I have been taking some self-portraits again. Lockdown is soon over, so next week I'm going to start going out in the city, but for the time being I've been back in my sort of makeshift studio and I've been doing some nice self-portraits. For those of you who don't know, I have a hashtag over on Instagram called BMPics2020, and if you do use any of these ideas or you've got some great photographs that you would like to share with me so I can shout you out on this channel, please use that hashtag and yeah, let's connect. So as I've been saying over the last couple of videos, I've had a surge of ideas going through my mind. Some of them have worked, some of them haven't, but you know, that's the whole point of this process really. You know, like you can't have every single idea. I've even had the opportunity to go out into my local area and take some really, really cool photographs as well, which are gonna come up on my Instagram over the next few days. But recently I have come into the studio and I've taken some self-portraits using stuff around the house. Some of them have sort of come out quite well. So let's just go through the 6 ideas that I'm going to show you in this video, and I'll just sort of like go through the process of what I've done to make them. So the first one was quite simply, it was an idea that I saw over on Instagram. Another creator did a sort of photograph like this and it made a sort of like heart shape of matches. And I thought that would be a really, really cool idea to have a heart shape with a portrait of myself in it. So I've got some matches and I made sort of like a nice little heart shape. Now the original idea was for me to glue them together and sort of hold it up, but you know, that was very, very fiddly. So in the end, I just ended up taking a photograph of it above, and then I took that over into Photoshop and I sort of cut out the middle, put myself into it, a nice little background, and yeah, sort of like turned into a little bit like this. Now I think it's come out quite well. I think I may have done a few things different if I had a little bit more time, but I felt a little bit rushed on this one because in the editing process I had to sort of like clone stamp some of the matches and sort of build out the sort of frame a little bit. And I didn't like the backgrounds, that's the reason why I put the sort of the forest background in between, and I had to do a little bit of color correction in the post. But yeah, I think as the first photograph to show you, I think it's come out quite nice, and sort of the creative idea behind it was, you know, it was okay. So the next idea was a really, really simple one. I just got some cardboard and I cut some shapes out into it. It was a lightning bolt and a diamond, and then I used a harsh light to shine through the cardboard to bring that sort of shape onto my face. I had to fiddle about with the cardboard a little bit because it was quite big and it was coming into frame of the camera, but I didn't mind it too much because I knew it was going to sort of really come into the face and crop it quite nice, so you just saw the sort of eye and the side of the face a little bit. And then there was no Photoshop with this one, it was all in Lightroom. I played around with the shadows, the highlights and some of the colouring, and then I used a filter over the eye to sort of like bring a lot of sort of like depth and life into the eye and sort of brighten up a little bit. And again, they've both come out really, really nicely. Now that was a nice, simple idea that anyone can do at home, so I highly recommend you guys give it a crack. And sort of the next one was a little bit more fiddly, and I basically used some tinfoil. I got some tinfoil and I shaped it around the side of my face, got it really sort of nicely and tight. The idea of it was, so when I took it into Photoshop, I took a clean slate of my own head and I placed it on top of each other because I wanted to try to get rid of the harshness of the sort of like the edges of the tinfoil to sort of make it look a little bit robotic, like it was actually part of my face and it sort of like came out of the skin. And I used the original photograph of just my head and I cut out the eye, and I used a sort of like a layer mask to sort of like paint out anything of my skin to give it sort of like a nice natural flow from the actual tinfoil to my face, and sort of like a nice little sort of like robotic Terminator type look. Now This next one, it's a little bit of like arty-farty type of an idea. I wasn't entirely too sure how it was going to end up or what it was going to look like, but I was actually quite pleased with the end product. I just got some gaffer tape and I put some over my face and my mouth and my eye and this, that, a little bit of it. And it was sort of like an idea of a process of like silencing yourself. Sometimes when you are a creator, you sort of like end up saying some things that you don't really sort of need to say, or even some of my videos, like the outtakes of my videos are so much. Like for a 10-20 minute video, I might end up sort of shooting the best part of 35 minutes because I ramble on and I'm all right with it. It did look very, very good in color, so I ended up making it black and white. Again, this was just simply Lightroom, no Photoshop was used within this photograph, and I made it black and white, played around with the contrast a little bit to sort of like really bring out those edges, and I brought a little sort of like a vignette around the side to bring the emphasis onto my face. And again, it's come out really, really nice. I'm very, very pleased with this one. Now, I tried out some other ideas, had this whole idea of using sort of like a spray bottle to sort of like spray onto my face and try to get like a high shutter speed so you can see the water come across, but it didn't really work out. So I quickly thought on my feet and wanted to use the high shutter speed. And the idea of me sort of like jumping in the air to make it look like I'm sort of like either landing in this type of superhero stance or at least sort of taking off. I ended up using a photograph that looked like I was landing as a superhero. Again, very, very high shutter speed, which got me really, really sort of nice and crisp in mid-air. You can sort of see the phone in my hand because obviously I was using my phone as my electric shutter. So I've thought about maybe painting it out, but made my hand look a little bit weird. But in the end, I don't think it sort of distracts from the actual photograph. So the overall picture itself has come out very, very nice. Again, I made it black and white because I thought it would look quite good, and put a vignette around the side. And using that high shutter speed really sort of catches the moment of me mid-air with no blur. And it was quite cool. And the final photograph overall was sort of an idea that you've seen loads of times, people using a mobile phone, people sort of like making it look like a road's coming out of it, or you're doing sort of like a bit of effect where you're sort of seeing what the phone is seeing. Again, this is two photographs. I did a quick photograph of me holding the phone up to the lens with nothing on it, and then I took another photograph of me holding the lens a little bit like this to make it look like you can see through the camera of the phone onto myself. And then I went into Photoshop, I took the two photographs together, I shaped the actual photograph of me holding the camera into the phone lens itself. Obviously the back photograph was a little bit blurry, and I made sure that the photograph in the phone is tack sharp, and it sort of like comes out quite nicely, a little bit like this. And those were them. Those are my 6 ideas that I've come up with self-portraits. I do like doing self-portraits. I think as a photographer, it's a very, very good thing to do, especially in a time when you don't really have an opportunity to sort of go out and source models. And if you're a little bit tired of going out taking the same photographs of the same things either in your local town, to come up with sort of like little ideas that you can use around the house and around your sort of local area, and sort of like come up with creative ideas. And that was it. That was pretty much my sort of motion behind this small little set. I hope you liked them. I hope you liked this video. And if in fact you have liked this video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button just down here, it takes literally seconds of your time and it helps other people get to see this video, because YouTube go, oh, people like this. Let's show it to more and more people. And if you fancy it, hit the subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date with everything that we do here at Benham Media. And like I have said, there is a lot of exciting things coming over on the channel. In the next few weeks, I'm going to be able to go out into the city because it's starting to open up nicely now. I'm going to take some photographs of London again, which I'm really looking forward to. And I'm going to do my first POV video as well, because I've got all my gear ready to do that. And you guys have been asking for these type of videos. I'm looking forward to creating something different, a little bit new, and moving the channel forward. And obviously with the other ideas that I've got coming up, I'm really excited, and I want you guys to be part of the journey. But this is a short one. I hope it's a short one. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, you know what to do, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time, guys, as always, I've been Nathan, you've been sensational. Thank you and goodbye. Mwah, 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 mwah.